Welcome back to another episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. I am Andrew. I'm joined with Zach, Joe, and Drake. And we're going to talk about some New Hampshire race that happened on Monday that I think most of us, besides Zach, just caught a little bit of it. Zach, how was the race?
It was awful. Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch wrecked. Terrible race. That's it. We'll catch you guys next week.
Yep, good episode. Thanks, guys. I thought it was the best race of the year. I watched about 8 laps of it and saw people racing. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
That's what you want out of NASCAR. Yeah. People racing.
Yes, you do.
Go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, overall, it was really good, I thought. I mean, Martin Truex checked out. He kind of stunk up the show. He took the lead early from C-Bell and just kind of ran away with it. But I thought there was really good racing throughout the field. I mean, you saw guys struggling with their cars. You know, Tyler Reddick had it crossed up pretty good a few times. There's some other guys that were struggling. So, I mean, this was our low downforce short track package. That looked pretty good. I believe someone's going to have to fact check me, but I believe we had a new tire too that was supposed to wear more. Could see more tire fall off, but I mean, overall, especially for like New Hampshire, I thought it was a pretty dang good race. I saw Gluck's poll; it was like 66% on the good race poll. It's like I don't know what the hell people want. Like, I mean, you saw multi-groove racing at New Hampshire. Like, there was a top line, there was a bottom line, there was a mid line, like at New Hampshire, and people could pass. I mean, I in particular was paying attention to Bell, who had to go back to the front or go to the back several times because his 20 team was just throwing so bad. But he came up to the field. Some other guys I saw moving around. So, I mean, I don't know. From a race fan, from just like a pure race, like there was no like, oh my God moment. There was no crazy thing that happened. There was obviously a battle for the lead because Truex. But I mean, overall, I thought it was pretty solid. I don't have any complaints.
I had it on my third one. I was working, so I checked in and out of the race. It seemed decent, like you said, decent for New Hampshire. And I did notice the fall off. There's a little more strategy. And do you take 2 tires? No one took 0 tires. Recchi tried and failed miserably on that. But there at least was a little bit. Do you take 2 or 4? Obviously, I would like to see more tire fall off, but I don't know how much more they can do with how these new tires are, but it was, I mean, yeah, obviously Truex stinks up the show. It seems like his thing when he wins. If he wins, he crushes everybody. So it's either all or nothing for him, it feels like. But yeah, and Chase sucked. So yeah.
That's the case.
It was, tires were a question. Unless you were Adam Stevens and you just said, put 4 on it. I don't care. Every time, put 4 on it, put 4 on it.
Oh, that was interesting. I'm surprised. One time, let's try 2.
I was so mad the whole race. I'm going to rant right now. I'm just going to get it out of the way. The whole race, like Kyle Busch, I expected. Kyle Busch and New Hampshire, they're not best friends. You know, he struggles there. So I wasn't really expecting much out of him. But Christopher Bell, I mean, I hyped him up all last week and his finish position and all that stuff. And his team, just as a collective, I've never seen a team work so hard to try to keep a driver from gaining spots. I mean, his first 2 pit stops were shit. He had a really slow pit stop the first one, and then the second one he had to come back in. I think they thought they had a loose wheel or something, so he had to come back in. After the first mess up, and he went back to like, I don't know, high teens somewhere. Gets back up to 6th or 5th. Then they have to come in again. When was that? So that first pit stop would have been at the comp caution. Second pit stop I think would have been stage end, stage 1 end. So then he has to go back to, I don't know, 30th or something, gets back up to like 5th or 6th again, and Adam Stevens just refuses to put 2 tires on it because then they had the caution, they had that really long run in stage 2, then there was like the late caution with I think like 30 laps to go or something like that, and Adam Stevens is like the only one in the top 10 that puts 4 tires on it. Everybody else takes 2, so Bell drops back to like 9th. And it's like, what the hell? And then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he's giving up the stage, and he's only going to put 2 on it at the stage break since it's only 20 laps away. Because everybody knows that 4 tires is not as important as track position at New Hampshire. Everybody knows that. My child knows that. My 5-year-old knows that.
Yeah, teach him young.
everybody knows track position is king in New Hampshire, but no, every fucking time we're putting 4 tires on it. Why? So I was so mad. I was so mad the whole race. I was like, you were just making, even the last caution. Like, why would you not put 2 tires on it now? Nope. We're going to put it back into 9th and 10th place where it's like 3 or 4 wide. Ah, Jesus.
So I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, they were horrible all day long, his pit crew and that.
Well,
But
his pit crew was only
with
really
the-
bad the first 2 times. After that,
Yeah.
it was all Adam Stevens being a douchebag and only putting
was it
4 on.
overconfidence from him driving from 30th to, like, I don't know, I think I saw him in 10th.
I
and then
guess.
back
I don't
up
know.
to 5th? Like, oh, he can pass cars, he's fast, just take 4 and I don't know. Either way,
guess.
he got screwed over.
You got to help your driver out at some point. You got to help get him track position because, like, you can make passes. I genuinely think he was one of the few cars that could have fought Martin Truex. But he never, like, I mean, you use up all your tire going from 30th to 5th, and then you get stuck and you can't pass anybody. And then he puts 4 tires on it again when everybody else takes 2. Well, now you're back in 10th. And the restarts, once you get 3 or 4 rows back, you're in that 3 wide nonsense, and it's just you get shuffled back, and you need to get clear. You need to get up to that top 5, top couple or whatever. Get me the track position first, and then we can worry about putting 4 tires on it later. Because I mean, even William Byron showed. Because I think in stage 1, during the comptaution, I think he only took 2, and
You're right. He did.
he was able to hang on to a top 5. I don't know, Joe. Do you know where he finished that first stage? I think it was top 5.
I think it was he held on. I believe because that was the one where Ricky took 0 tires and fell back immediately, and then William had 2, and he led. I think the next good bit of laps, and he only got overtaken 10 to go in that stage. I forget by who, but yeah, it's like it clearly worked.
Like the whole concept of a net gain was just completely lost on Adam Stevens. Like, okay, let's put 2 tires on it, get us in the front row. Maybe we'll lose a couple spots, but we gained like the 6 or 7 hardest positions to make up on the track. We gained that in pit strategy. It was just like, and I know Adam Stevens is a good crew chief. Like he's no Ben Bayshore. Like and that's what it reminded me of. I was getting flashbacks to last year with Kyle Busch and Ben Bayshore, just awful calls. And I know Adam Stevens is better than that. It's just, I don't know. It's like, are you guys throwing so fucking Martin can get a win in New Hampshire? Like, what is going on? This is so bad. So, Anyway, ran over. As a Christopher Bell fan, I was very fucking pissed. But the race was good. I can separate the two. The race was still good.
Yeah, so I was at work, so I had my earbuds in. I had my phone on too, but the little bit that I did watch, it actually seemed like there was some racing. It was multi-lane. Some good passes, saw some guys try some slide jobs. Overall, it was actually surprisingly good. And I guess our last couple of New Hampshires have been good. I don't really recall them, but I mean, it was it was a fine race. I'd obviously like to see, Martin Truex not be Martin Truex and dominate, but the racing throughout the field was pretty good.
Yeah, it was solid.
I got a feel for Eric Almirola, though. Obviously, he's been talking retirement, all that. New Hampshire's been a really strong place for him. He finally gets the lead under caution. And what happens when we go green? His wheel falls off. He wrecks the car. Man, how frustrated can you be with a team right there?
Especially after your crew chief just told you that the wheels are all tight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. He's like, what happened? Wheel fell off.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. This SHR, man. Jeez Louise. of
speaking of SHR, we'll hop into a little bit of news that's kind of rumored around. McDowell to the 10 if Almirola does retire.
Interesting.
How do you guys feel about that?
It's a downgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem to me like that's...
It feels like it right now.
Sure it does.
I mean, you got different drivers, different... I don't know if we can say anything about the caliber of driver that Eric Almirola is, but I mean, maybe Michael would do better in that car, but I mean, at the way that 34 has been running this season, I mean, he's what, like 15th in like 15th slot for the playoff standings right now.
Yep.
Right.
Which is...
That's a good thought. Let's compare the other SHR drivers real quick.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I'm curious where the other SHR guys are right now.
Apart from Harvick is the anomaly. He is the one that...
Right. Yeah.
That's just because he's ninth. So let's see.
Yeah, Michael McDowell is 16th, and then
Is he 16th? I thought he was.
yeah, he's 16th.
16th, yeah.
He's 16th.
Okay.
Ryan
Priest
Priest
is
26, 27th Amarola, 31st Chase Briscoe.
Oof.
I mean,
So he is like
Granted, Briscoe did have that huge penalty, but still, he would probably be like he probably be what
how
25th?
many points was that?
He's-
Can we just do a quick add in to see where he was at? How many points
Was
did
it
that put on?
100 points? So he'd be what? Yeah, he'd be like
So-
24th, 25th. So
349.
still bad.
still
yeah.
awful.
So
Still
still,
not
hardly in front of the 38 car,
Right.
Yeah.
which is Todd Gilliland behind the wheel.
Yeah. That's
It's just mind blowing. How can Kevin Harvick be that much better?
Todd Gilliland part-time.
yeah.
behind the wheel.
Technically
Yeah.
part time. Yeah, sure.
So
Sure.
he's not even running all the races, and he's
That is going to be an
I
interesting.
mean, Chase Elliott's ahead of them all.
he
Yeah.
is.
That's saying something.
I mean, it sounds like McDowell doesn't want to. And this is his quote: "My plan is to keep running at front row and be there for a long time. It's not my option. I don't get the choice. We'll see how it plays out. It's not up to me. It's really not."
You feel for him too, because you feel like he really built that 34 car. Like,
He did.
did.
Yeah.
He's been that
Like,
thing
I
for
mean-
how long?
The 500 win really, pushed that team forward, and you've seen, the fruits of the labor.
I mean,
They've-
it's just
they've
like
been
a little
performing.
bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and
No.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess when he says it's not his choice, are they like if they put Zane in that car, or is that what he's referring to?
Well,
I'm like-
it's not his option to go to SHR. He's,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
a
yeah.
Ford driver, basically.
Yeah.
So they're going to say, you're going here.
Yeah.
So he goes to SHR. And it sounds like Zane would be his replacement at,
yeah.
front row, which
34.
I think is a great place for him. And I think he's a great driver. But I don't know. As Zach said, it's a downgrade. And I don't know. Something's got to happen with SHR, right? You got Josh Berry going in next year. You possibly have Almirola out and McDowell. So you're going to have McDowell, Berry, Priest, and Briscoe.
Yep.
Like, it just doesn't sound.
Oh boy, and especially if that Smithfield money walks too with Almirola, yikes.
It's not a top tier
Well,
team. Yeah. And I mean, they just
and
lost
they got-
Bush.
They got Bush going away.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bush is out too. So they better get some big boy sponsors in there if they want to stay somewhat competitive.
I mean, maybe they think Loves will go to the 10 with McDowell. That's the only thing I could see. I mean, that's a pretty good
But he-
sponsor.
I feel like
I
that's,
think
I don't know, because that's definitely a front row sponsor though, because they run that
Is
on
it?
the trucks too. So
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I think that's sticking with front row. I don't think he has many personal sponsors, if any, because I feel like most of their sponsors are run on all their cars.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know.
that team's doing better too. If they run a Taco Bell car, means they don't have any funding. They don't have any sponsorship. Little
Sure.
inside trade secret.
Well, didn't the 38 run a A&W scheme this past weekend? I thought the root beer, or was I seeing things?
Which car?
I feel like
38?
I haven't seen them run an A&W car in a little bit.
Let me check. I swore I saw that. Maybe it was another car. I don't know, but that's besides the point. You just talked about Taco Bell. That reminded me of that.
Does mean that means they're. I mean, they've been doing well. The car has been. Team's been well funded now that they've got a little oomph in their step. So, but yeah, I don't think much of that would come over with Michael if he switched over to the 10. To be honest,
It was A&W.
Oh.
I knew it.
Hmm.
Fun.
Interesting. So, speaking of McDowell and Priest had apparently an on-track altercation and kind of bubbled over after the race. McDowell tried to go over and talk to Priest, and Priest kind of pushed him away. I don't know. Did anybody actually see what happened, though?
yeah, and that NASCAR posted it, and after they showed the altercation, they showed what actually happened. They were kind of fighting hard for it. Looked like there were a few corners, and then Michael on the inside got into it a little hard, ran Priest up the track and into the wall. So that's what and Michael owned up to it. He said it was his fault, but I mean, there's nothing else he really could have said there because it's definitely his fault. But it seemed like they more or less worked it out after that quick discussion because I'm sure Michael was apologetic about it. But yeah, a little bit of drama.
Reese has got to be a little frustrated.
Yeah, being a wash up like he is, but I'd be frustrated too. Nah, I mean, yeah, that was.
Wasn't there somebody else that I said one of your drivers had beef with? Oh, who was it? Oh, there's somebody
the last week, Byron and
Jones and LaJoy. That's it.
Oh yeah, Jones and LaJoy had a little altercation, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
What happened again?
I don't know. I think Jones just ran him tight or something like that. Ran into him. That's what caused the accident that took Ty Gibbs out.
Mm.
Yep.
Whatever they had going
on. But honestly, now that I think about it, a couple of the favorite drivers this week had issues because when Kyle Busch wrecked, so did LaJoy.
He did. He followed right in his footsteps.
Yeah.
Somebody else tagged the wall that corner too. There was like 3 of them.
Yeah. They thought there was oil or something on the track at that point, but no, it was just guys fucking up.
Yeah, well, I think they were trying to take like a higher line, like entry line, like and that's where like they were starting to run this higher line. These guys are kind of working up the track and playing around with it, and well, they went a little too high.
So, I do have a question for you, Zach.
Sure.
How is Kyle Busch normally at New Hampshire?
Lately, I don't think he's done very well. Overall, I'm not really sure. I don't know his numbers off the top of my head. I mean, Kyle can be good anywhere, but New Hampshire, I don't remember him having, like, you don't go to New Hampshire and think Kyle Busch. I'll say that.
Okay. Yeah, he had a rough weekend, wrecking in practice.
And they just
qualifying.
Their car just seemed off. I don't think they. I mean, he spun it in qualifying too, so I don't know. Maybe they just. You can just miss it sometimes. Just miss the setup. Even a crew chief as good as Randall Burnett, sometimes you just don't get it right. So it is what it is.
Yeah, his interview after the race, he said that the team was fighting for a rear grip all weekend long. So, like you said, they just missed it. It is what it is. They'll move on and hopefully rebound at PocoNO, which. Actually, RCR is pretty good at PocoNO. Austin Dillon's had some good finishes there.
I do feel like Kyle Busch is good at PocoNO.
Ooh.
I can't say his average finish. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think he runs usually pretty good there. I mean, he would have finished second last year if Chase Elliott wasn't third and they needed to find a reason to DQ first and second.
Well, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Don't bring the tape.
Yeah, everybody better be real careful. They don't have tape on the car this year.
Leave your duct tape at home, boys.
If Chase is anywhere near the top 5, y'all better be real careful.
Chris getting DQ'd, baby.
Speaking of which, how we feeling, Joe, with Chase and his championship playoff hopes?
I've accepted the fact that championship is probably not happening this year. I mean, I still think there's a shot at the playoffs. Let me look at the schedules here. We got PocoNO this weekend.
Well, there's always a shot because he can win. Like, he can win anywhere. Do you think he is pointing his way in out of the question at this point?
That pointing his way in is probably a slim chance. He's 60 points out right now, and he's got to pass like 5-6 guys. So he's got to be better than those five or six guys every week for the next 6 weeks.
They haven't had the speed either. I don't know.
Yeah, they've just been all year they've been kind of off. I mean, obviously he's got a couple road courses and Daytona's a crapshoot. So, I mean, he can still win. He's still in a Hendrick car, so he can still do it, and he's still one of the top road course guys. So, I don't know. I'd like to think we can make the playoffs, but I don't know about a championship. I'm kind of resigned to that fact, and I'd be okay with it being Williams' year.
I think if he could finish like at least 7th and just consistently there for the next couple of races, I think he's got a shot.
He needs stage points too.
Yeah, 100%. Because, I mean, obviously, you look at the guys around him, they're not consistent. So I think if he can just consistently run well, he can be there. But as Zach said, he's not showing speed. He hasn't had speed
No.
all year. I've never
Right.
gone, man, Chase Elliott looks fast. It's
Right.
not happening.
Because realistically, normal, like if they even have some speed, he's behind. Okay, he can get Cindric, he can get Haley, Ty Gibbs, sure, because they're all within 20 points of him, and then Bowman's ahead of him and all that. So it's possible. He's gonna, like you said, finish top 10 and get stage points. So we'll see how she blows on that.
And Zach,
Yes.
Kyle Busch has an average of 16.4 finish, but that includes his 38th DNF from last year where he was disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
He has, in the 4 races, if you remove that one, a win and 3 top 5s.
There you go.
So, pretty strong.
Yeah, I think Kyle's pretty good at PocoNO.
Yeah, I think he's won there a handful of times, I believe.
So, yep. Man, anybody got anything else? I mean, John Hunter dominated on Saturday from what I saw.
Do we think Martin's retiring?
I do.
I still think so. Based on nothing at all, I just still think he's ready to hang it
we're
up.
never wrong here.
We never are.
Based on facts.
100% facts.
And truth.
True. That's true.
He's retiring. You heard it here first. Confirmed. Martin Truex retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Truex retiring. It's gonna go on that saltwater boat.
He's the points leader right now, so maybe he gets himself a chip and rides off in the sunset.
Yeah,
that was his exact words.
Yeah,
that's what I would do if I was him. Like,
do the Peyton Manning
on top.
Even if you don't get the championship, like he's having a very good year. Like this is the kind of year you want to go out on. I feel like
you don't want to do the Jimmy Johnson where you suck for 3 years,
or like Dale Jarrett, or like so many greats have gone that route where they just start getting old, falling off. Their teams don't have the same funding. They switch teams, don't have the funding, and then just kind of harms their legacy a little bit. So I don't hate the walk off championship win.
And I mean, Harv's kind of like going off, not fully off the top, just because Stuart Haas has been bad, but he's not been like Jimmy Johnson bad the past few years.
Well, and see, that's the problem. That's what you gotta be careful of too, because like that's what everybody remembers is Jimmy Johnson being bad as last year, but everybody forgets that Hendrick as a whole was dog shit.
Oh yeah, they were terrible this year.
So it's like it wasn't, and that's the risk that you run if you're being Martin, is people remembering, oh, he was shit his last year. Like it might not be him, it might be the cars, it might be the equipment or whatever. Like Hendrick in that last year with Jimmy in those last couple years, they were awful, but nobody remembers it like that. They remember it as Jimmy sucked. So yeah, even if I don't win the championship this year, like I think if I'm Martin Truex right now and he's starting to think about retirement, which he has been since last year, I'm just calling it. How many wins do you have this year? 3, 4?
4,
yeah. I mean that's a great season to go out on, championship or no championship.
I agree.
Yeah. If you watch that interview, the post-race interview, I mean, man, he's not excited, nothing. I mean, he's talking like a guy that just finished 40th and is being asked about retirement. Like, there's just no love there for it seems.
Yeah.
So, and just how he talks, I think he's more worried about letting the team down and his crew. And I mean, a lot of it, I guess, is front row guys that came over. So they've been together for a long time, and he's more focused on that. Furniture row, my bad.
Like front row. I'm like, what?
Yeah, furniture row, front row. I get it.
I do that all the time. You're fine.
Yeah, but it just doesn't seem that he's in love with it anymore. He's ready to move on. He just doesn't want to let people down.
I mean, it's got to be a hard thing to walk away from, right? Like, it's your dream job. It's the thing you aspire for. Yeah. You're finally at a position, like, and especially with Martin, where he was stuck at, Michael Waltrip Racing for how many years and just not in good stuff. Like, he's finally in a position where he's in championship caliber equipment, doing what he loves. He's in, and he's being successful. So it's like, shit, do I really want to walk away from all this? So I get the apprehension.
When did the whole Kyle Busch stuff start really getting pushed around? Was it about this time last year?
I think it was earlier.
It was around Indy, wasn't it?
I think it was earlier. I think.
Was it?
I think it started in like the spring. Like the whole Kyle Busch is up for a contract or
When did
whatever.
it really like get to a head though? Like where it was news every week.
I think probably a little bit earlier. It was like, hey, we still haven't heard anything. Hey, we still haven't heard anything. And I think a little bit before, maybe around now, is when it was like, we haven't heard anything, and now we're concerned.
Right.
Like now it could be like a real problem.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're getting to that point with this though, because you do have to line up, sponsors and all that, and John Hunter's going to be the replacement if he does. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think there's too much work to do because they don't have to go out and find a new guy. They got their development driver program, but John Hunter's just sitting in the wings waiting for a ride. So it's not like they need to go out and find a driver. So I guess there's probably not that much of a rush, but still, yeah, you got to get like sponsorships to line up and everything, and you got to fill that Xfinity ride. Who's going to take that? Because I don't even know who they have. I guess you would bring a truck person up. Who's a Toyota truck driver? I don't even know.
I don't know anymore either. I mean, that's the thing about Toyota versus Ford is Toyota's got a lot of drivers in the Xfinity where Ford's got like 3. So I don't think they'll have a problem finding somebody to move up. I could be wrong, but man,
Ford just takes Toyota drivers. That's what they do.
Jesse Love is in line to take Hamlin's seat.
Interesting.
That's kind of crazy. Okay, I got nothing else for New Hampshire though. Anybody else? No.
What about Sammy Smith? Wouldn't he be in line for Hamlin's seat?
Oh, that's who I meant.
Yeah.
Sammy Smith. That's who I meant. Not Jesse Love. Sammy Smith. My
I
bad.
was going to say, it's like Jesse Love's nowhere close to.
Yeah, I got it mixed up. I'm another driver down. Well, hell, you know who could replace it? It actually makes 100% reason why he would retire. Ryan Truex.
Mm.
We get a Xfinity ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would take over for John Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
which basically, oh man, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Just seems like a good move. Older brother retire, younger brother gets a shot.
How old is Ryan Truex? I never knew, but I saw him when he won wherever that was, Dover. He looked like he was 47.
I think they said he's like 11 or 10 years younger. So
Really? He does not look like it, that's for sure.
He had like a bunch of gray hair and everything. It's like he's the younger brother?
yeah, he was born in 92.
Well.
So he's 30? 31.
Wow, he's younger than me.
Dang, he's only 3 years older than me.
So
More you
Stressed
know.
out, I guess.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Well, how about some PocoNO talk?
PocoNO.
It looks like we might not have rain.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and
jinxing it.
jinx it. I'm jinxing it right the fuck now.
I know, seriously.
Let me look. PocoNO, we have at highest 7% chance of rain. That's at 11 p.m. Oh, and at 5 a.m. So it's looking pretty good.
With 7%, it'll happen about 2 Eastern, 4 Eastern, and 7 Eastern. Just cancel it all. Yeah, we might actually have a Sunday race. Well, I guess we did at Chicago, but an oval Sunday race.
Yep. There's nothing to say we won't get like a pop-up shower, but right now it's not. It's at least looking like nothing that'll be like all freaking day.
Good. Thank God. I got nothing really to say about PocoNO. I mean, it's not my favorite track.
There can be some interesting fuel strategy played. I feel like a lot of times it comes down to a fuel race, which can kind of be fun. See who can save and all that stuff.
You do get the pit stop strategy just because a pit stop takes shorter than a lap, kind of like a road course.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It could add to some stuff. I don't know, the tire issue a couple years ago for Larson on the last lap, that was cool, but I don't know. I'm never excited from a PocoNO race.
Do we see brake failures?
I really remember where I was when Larson blew his tire. Austin, we were at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Were we?
Yeah,
Heck
we were getting rations at the local store before I headed in.
Oh yes.
I have a really weird memory.
Yeah.
So fun fact about me.
There you go. Love
Yeah.
those
I think
I was
we
getting
any-
ready. I was getting ready to shut the TV off in frustration because Bowman finished second, and I had a decent amount bet on Bowman. And when I saw the tire, I was I started like losing. I was excited, but yeah.
Do you think we see any brake failures? Any exploding brakes?
They've had issues before.
Fortunately, would be surprised if there weren't any.
PocoNO had.
I don't want them because they're hard hits. That's kind of when Jimmy and Bubba had super hard hits, and those are not fun, especially coming off that big straightaway at 200. Well, maybe not 200 anymore, but big old speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Who didn't somebody get a concussion here last year?
That
Was Kurt. He backed it in off of turn 3 and never been the same, man. That's such a bummer.
I was hoping to see him come back this year. I mean, it's not too late, but I don't know. I don't like seeing somebody go out like that.
I feel like I haven't heard a Kurt concussion update because I know he did a lot of stuff for the Chicago race with like 2311. Obviously, he didn't race. He did like the first pitch stuff at the Cubs game, but I feel like I haven't heard any news on that.
It's cool to at least see him still around. Like, I mean, I know he's not driving a car like you'd want him to, but he's obviously still heavily involved with 2311, which is
good. Yeah, as he should be.
I enjoy the videos they put up every once in a while on the 2311 where he's just screwing around in the shop. Like there's the one where he brought a bunch of remote control cars and was just racing them around while people were working. But I mean, he's having a good old time with the team. I'm glad they didn't just like kick him to the curb.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good personality to have around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed.
So, I guess there is one thing I wouldn't mind seeing was maybe the short track package at something like PocoNO, something with long sweeping turns, because we did have decent racing at New Hampshire.
Yeah. Short track package everywhere. Why not?
Yeah, low downforce. I mean, that's honestly what we need.
That's all you need. Yeah, low downforce. Low downforce, high horsepower. Give it to me.
Speaking of that, they announced that we're going to add an underwing possibly next year.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, I didn't see what tracks they were talking about, but no changes this year. They're going to test it out.
Yeah, that's something new they're going to be testing. I think they're supposed to test it at New Hampshire pretty soon.
Oh, is that like crazy short track package you're trying?
I mean, it's not super crazy, I don't think, but it's just going to be like if you ever seen the front of like a GT3 car or something like that. It has like that lip that like goes up in the center. I think that's kind of what it's going to look like. I think like the Ferrari 488. I want to Google it now. But I think the Ferrari 488 GT3 car sort of has a good example of it. At least what I'm picturing it to look like.
Basically, what I heard it's supposed to do is remove downforce. Kind of the opposite of what we're doing now. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, something like, here we go. I'm going to share this with the chat that nobody in the podcast can see.
I'll try to pull it up.
But I think something like that. It's R Factor screenshot. Boo R Factor. Or iRacer here. But, whatever.
We're looking at the little winglet on the front? Or
yeah. I saw something that was like pointing to that. Like, see how the wing like goes up in the center?
Yeah, you kind of see it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they're trying. Something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Get some more air under the car instead of pushing down on the nose. Okay. I can dig it.
So, we shall see.
If you want to see it, be sure to tune in to our live streams on the Green White Checker Podcast on YouTube.
There you go.
True.
Did you post it up so they could see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pulled it up.
Oh, nice. All right.
The one funny thing I will say, we were talking about. I just thought about. We were talking about rain and all that stuff. In true weather following NASCAR around fashion, even Goodwood was rained out this year for like the first time in 30 years. And guess what was there? The Garage 56 car.
Yeah.
So they had like torrential downpour, and they actually had they canceled the Saturday event because the weather was so bad. First time they ever had to do that.
Thanks, NASCAR.
I was like, yeah, you got the full NASCAR experience.
You want to move on to Goodwood, or I do have one more NASCAR.
I don't really have anything to say about Goodwood. It was Goodwood.
I have something to say about it. But
hit us with.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, Zach, is Goodwood safe?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, apparently not. Apparently it isn't.
So, just a little talk about why I asked him that. Was it Saturday morning, I think?
It was, I think so. No, it was Friday.
Yeah, Friday. So, everything was starting off, and Zach's talking about it in Discord, and I get on there, and I say, every time I see it, it looks unsafe to me. And then Zach and I kind of go back and forth. And if you've never seen Goodwood, it's basically a regular road in the UK, right?
When you say regular road, it's in the UK. It's like, I don't know.
Small
it's kind
country road.
It's sort of like some guy's private area. Like I forget how they have things, but it's like the Duke of Richmond, like his estate. And like the hill climb is like part of his property, but like it is a road, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a regular road-ish with hay bales lined up on the side. That's it. And, the turns and that, they got a bunch lined up. And right after we started talking about it, a Hyundai goes just straight into them, takes out like 10 hay bales, but safe. But then some old, I think
Jaguar Mark 1. It was a Jag.
Yeah.
Mark 1 something or other.
Jag
fucks the wheel.
And he goes over the hay bales and hits 2 fans?
I think so. I think they're okay. I never heard any different.
Yeah, it sounded like they were fine-ish. I mean, obviously they just got hit by a tire going. Luckily, it was like at the beginning, so it was only 30 miles an hour or something like that, and it wasn't some fast car. But I don't know. It's 2023, and we have hay bales separating things from a car.
They also have that like single like torque lug thing that you see like old 60s cars, like the little triangle thing where you actually have to tighten it down.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't like
inspection next time.
Yeah, it wasn't like a modern like locking type thing.
For sale, one Jaguar. Was it Mark 1 or whatever the hell you call it?
I think. Hold on, now I gotta Google it. Yeah, it's like an old Mark 1 Jag of some kind.
Yeah, for sale by owner. Pay legal bills.
Is that what they just call it? It looks like it's just call the Jaguar Mark 1.
Oh, there you go.
Or was it a Mark 2? I don't know. It was a Jaguar. Old and British.
That describes it.
I used to hate
Jaguars overall,
because they were the slowest cars in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 3.
It's true. Because they don't have that XK thing.
Yeah.
The XJ220, that was awesome. I like that.
I think
that's pretty badass.
What was the one game? It was like something club.
Midnight Club?
Midnight Club.
Yeah, Midnight Club.
I think I had a badass Jaguar in that. But I don't remember.
I believe it.
I don't know. I think Jaguars look good, but they are kind of slow in real life.
They look good because they look like Aston Martins.
Yeah.
Let me see older ones.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still up in the air on it. Is it safe? I just think we can do a better job there.
I was arguing with you all morning about calling you a pussy. Then next thing you know, fucking like, God damn it.
Yeah, I saw in Discord, was like,
to hell with the people that were actually hurt. Like, I just lost an argument.
Yeah, exactly. God.
An internet argument.
No, but for real, I am glad those people are okay. The tire going into the crowd is like
scary.
It's terrifying. It's one of the worst things that could happen, apart from the full car going into the crowd.
Yeah.
Which I did see something that was kind of like little distasteful. I don't know if you guys know about, just talking about unsafe fan areas and stuff. Years ago, one of the VLN races over in the Nürburgring, a GTR, I think it was GT3 spec, was going around one of the areas, how it's all hilly and stuff like that, and actually lifted off and flipped and flew into the crowd and killed 3, 4, 5 people, something like that. And there was video footage of it. And in the new Gran Turismo movie trailer, they actually sort of reference that in the trailer. Like, I don't know if that's great.
Really, I saw one car flip in the trailer that
Like
I can
the
think of. But
prototype?
it was just
Yeah,
it
but
was a prototype.
there's a clip I saw. It was a clip of a GTR flipping in like a very similar manner. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, but all right.
Yeah, that is distasteful. Like, I remember it happening. It was a GTR too, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I'm gonna see if I can find that. I'll just share it for us because I don't even know if we get copyright strike on YouTube or something shit.
Yeah, probably. But let's see what other racing we had. We had Denny Hamlin winning a range-shortened SRX race.
Forgot that happened.
I didn't get to watch that. Was that good? How was that?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was decent racing. Yeah, hard racing. They definitely bump and bang some good short track racing. I don't know. There was one point though towards the end of it where it's like, there's a lot of lightning. Why are we still racing? And I'm not complaining that they were still racing, but NASCAR, I mean, you get a lightning strike, it seems like 100 miles away, and they're like, shut it down! And SRX is over there showing video of just lightning strikes going off behind the track, and it's like, what the hell's
That's
going
pretty
on?
cool over here.
It's a federal law, but hey, whatever. But no, Denny Hamlin won. He looked good. Newman was coming
Was
for
he?
him. Yeah. I had to say something after
Was
because
he
I knew
coming?
somebody was gonna.
Coming.
God damn it.
Coming.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I thought the racing was good. Anybody catch the IndyCar race?
No, because IndyCar has the worst fucking marketing in the
Yeah,
world.
I had zero idea,
Zero clue.
and I zero clue. And I follow them on Twitter. Didn't see a thing about it.
I would have happily watched it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would have too. I mean, what else was going on Sunday?
Nothing.
But so here's their failure on this. They didn't advertise it. Worth a fuck. And it was on Peacock. So you had to watch there. And then on top of that, like Joe just said, he follows them on Twitter. Yeah, you know what they said on Twitter? On Peacock.
There you go. I think they did put it on USA though. I thought I saw somewhere that they put it on the NASCAR slot because the race got
Oh,
postponed.
really? I didn't see
I
that.
think. Fact check me on that, but I swear I saw that somewhere.
Huh. I mean, that would have been a good move by them and USA, but I don't know.
Do we
It's just piss
do we
poor
like the
marketing.
idea of races being on a paid subscription
No.
thing? Because that could be NASCAR's world. We could be heading that direction.
I mean, I wouldn't love it. I think you're going to lose a lot of viewers.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about it if you do it and take commercials out?
I mean, honestly, I'm going to get it if they do it, depending on the price. If it's like Flow Racing price, probably not.
What is Flow
was
Racing? $150 or something?
Way too
thought
high.
it was more than that. Yeah. I mean, if you put it on a network that like I already have, I'm in. I'll pay a little extra for, say, Amazon or Netflix or.
I'll be sure to tell
Oh.
NASCAR to check in which streaming services you have before they sign a deal.
I pretty much have them all,
Okay.
but yeah. But if I'm going to be paying for it, I want extras. I want audio, like in-car audio. I want in-car cameras. I want extras. But yeah, I'm not gonna go out of my way to pay for it. Just NASCAR app or some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Find illegal streams.
yeah, I mean, I think the difference between something like a Peacock, something like a Flow Racing, is that with Peacock, I mean, you get a lot of other shows and stuff you can watch too. Like I know Lindsay
True.
watches a bunch of shows on Peacock since we ended up getting it for NASCAR stuff.
Twisted Metal coming out next week.
Yeah, I mean I think The Office and Parks and Rec and stuff is on there too. So and those are relatively cheap, I feel like, as well, compared to like a Flow Racing. I don't know. I can't remember how much we said Flow Racing was, but yeah, it's just I think that's a big difference. I wouldn't mind seeing it switch, because I mean I feel like a lot of people don't. I don't know how many people don't have cable now compared to back in the day. I know I've heard of a lot of people like getting rid of their cable to just strictly do streaming services, so it might help reach a wider audience. But also might limit us if it's purely on a streaming service. So I don't know. Removing commercials would be sick though.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be the main one.
I know
Watch the
NFL's done that.
international
Like, was
stream
it
for it.
Thursday Night Football? Is on Amazon Prime. Like
Yeah.
only now.
It is,
They,
yeah.
they still have commercials though.
They do, yeah. And I feel like
But they
everyone has
also-
Amazon Prime these days. So
I guess the
Yeah,
trick with
but-
that is that that's not your whole product on a streaming service. That's
Right, exactly.
one game.
yeah,
But you also have multiple streams, so they have your, Chris Collinsworth bullshit, and then you have the Manning podcast with the Manning brothers.
the Manning stream.
Yeah, and then they also had a third one, and they just throw random stuff. Like they had a all female announcers, and then like they did the was it Dude Perfect or something like that? Did a couple games. I mean, they're doing other stuff, so. If you didn't have Prime, which I feel like, Drake said, a lot of people already have it, so you already have it. But I could see paying was it like $12 or whatever a month for a couple months of Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I feel like we're heading that direction whether we like it or not. So, who knows? We'll see. I don't know how I feel about it still.
Joe? Zach, anything to talk about? I got one other thing to talk about, and then I think we move on to like Survivor and that.
No, nothing else for me.
No, I think we're good.
All right, the one thing I wanted to talk about, Steve Letarte was saying that we remove practice to keep the good teams from getting better. Now, my response is, we have no practice now. One of the small teams winning. They're not.
Nope.
So who's it actually helping?
I mean, I think it's just like when you save teams money, I don't think you're saving anybody money. Like if Hendrick spends this X amount of dollars with practice and you say we're going to cut practice by 75%, they're going to take that savings and invest it elsewhere. They're not like just going to say, oh, great, thanks, NASCAR. We now have this much money to save. They're going to take that and put it into sim work, engineering help, this, that, and all that other stuff now where your small teams that actually are saving that money, like, I don't know, Aspire, for example, that might be stretching it to do that, whatever our practice length was before, and now that 75% reduction, they actually, like, keep their heads above water a little bit, but they can't reinvest that into sim work and engineering support like a Hendrick does. So it's like,
Yep.
We're just doing the same thing, just in a different way. And if anything, it's just screwing the smaller teams more because now they can't get to the physical track and work on their stuff.
Yeah, that's how I view it. I mean, the big teams have the money for the engineers and the sim work, and your smaller teams don't. So I think his argument's actually asked backwards, where the practice actually helps the smaller teams.
And I went back and looked because we did make that comment on Twitter about it, and somebody said, well, small teams won last year. Really, there weren't that many small teams that won last year either. It was pretty much all big teams. I think I figured 2 races were won by small teams, what I would consider small teams. But the rest of
which races were those?
The one
at Indy,
Petty GMS, and I think the colleague one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean,
because Trackhouse had wins, but they're a key partner with Chevy, so I would not call them a smart team. And they're also
Chip Ganassi.
It's Chip Ganassi, so they're not a small startup team.
No.
So you only had, as far as I'm concerned, Eric Jones win at Darlington and Collie win.
I'll say the Eric Jones one's pretty impressive. I mean, Allmendinger at a road course. I mean, we know he's good. And it's probably, honestly, like a Hendrick Chevy or something like that, RCR Chevy at that point, because they know he's going to be fast and good there. So,
yeah. I mean, I think Hendrick still won like 11 races last year. So we just had everybody from all the teams was able to win. Everybody from all the big teams was able to get a win. So that's why we had so many diverse winners. It wasn't like small teams rising up. This is our moment. Now, are they running better? Maybe. But they're still not out there winning races.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I think the same. So the money just went somewhere else for the big teams. Small teams, I don't know. I'm guessing they're paying for the info, honestly. But who knows?
they're paying for it, or it's trickling down at some rate, but they're still not. They're never going to get the same info. Like Hendrick is never going to give Spire exactly their notes. Like they're not going to do that. They'll help them out a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. The big teams are still just going to be big teams. So as far as I'm concerned,
the
you're
only
just
answer,
hurting all of them.
Only answer is a spending cap.
Maybe if you want to be serious about saving money.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is you're still gonna have to set that spending cap so high that's just gonna hurt the lower teams anyway, because they're just kind of gonna change their budgets. It's only gonna. I mean, I guess and then theoretically it just hurts the bigger guys, but you still have to set it so high that I don't know. I guess that's the point of it. So I'm just stupid, just talking to my ass. But I think that I don't know. It was kind of just BSing. Like I don't think I actually want that, but the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe that's not a horrible idea. I mean. Be kind of interesting to play around with.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is about just having practice. Like, if you don't want to run it for whatever reason, you don't have to run practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
You can rely on your sim work if you want to. You have all that simulator work. If you don't want to run in an actual hour practice session, then don't.
Right.
But I think smaller teams, we saw it at Daytona this year, smaller teams that haven't had a chance to actually drive the car yet, like just time to shake down the car and dial it in just a little bit, make sure everything's working right. I don't know.
Yeah, Chandler Smith didn't even get out for qualifying because they had no practice to test the car.
Right.
And I had a point that I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. Completely just lost it.
It's probably really good, though.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Best take ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't fully agree with that Steve Letarte point in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. And, taking the practice away, it took it away from the fans, too. I mean, that's people get to the racetrack earlier to see practice on Fridays and that. So now it's, you're removing a day. Which that will save the team's money, keeping a full team getting there a day early. But I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's it. I guess it's not really so much the practice time, but now you have to have hotel and lodging for team guys for an extra night or whatever. But again, Hendrick isn't taking that money and saying, "Boy, thanks NASCAR. Now we can afford to feed our families tonight." They're taking that and throwing it elsewhere.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's not. It's like the argument that practice only benefits the big teams and hurts the small teams is a silly one.
Yeah, I agree.
Practice or no practice, the big teams benefit.
Okay, let's move on to Survivor. Not Survivor. No. Let's go kill count first. Kill count first. We're just adding Ty Gibbs. There's a lot of single car issues, but Ty Gibbs taking out Bowman near the end. On that, I didn't really see anything else that I can think of.
Pretty clean in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Survivor.
Now Survivor, yeah.
Survivor. Well, it was a great week.
It was a great week.
For everybody but Joe, who listened to me and picked Christopher Bell. What an idiot.
Yeah.
So, Andrew won this week with Harvick, who finished P4. Drake came in second with Denny, who finished 7th. Then I was third with Bubba, who got 8th. And then Joseph with old C-Bill back in 29.
What's it take to have Drake finish last on a week?
I don't know.
Have I finished last?
It's like first or second every week, it feels like.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I picked Bubba. I had a good week. Every time I have a good week, you guys just have a little bit better. Like, it's just horseshit.
I finished last at Vegas, and then the next
Nashville
week at Phoenix
also.
as well. And that is the only 3.
Nashville.
Yeah, I'm including that.
Oh, yeah, only 3.
So
but I mean, look at 3.
With that being said, I'm gonna come in last every single time for the rest of the way.
Good.
No, because I got nobody left to fucking pick.
All right.
Well,
So Joe got last.
Yep. I'm going with Bubba Walrus this week.
Oh, Bubba. Well, I'm just going to go with Eric Amarola because I don't know who else to pick.
Throw away.
Mm-hmm.
Since I still have him left, I think I'm gonna go Bad Brad. A little bit of a throwaway, but
I don't know, man. He's
they've turned it
been up
around a
there
little
last-
bit.
yeah,
RFK's got some speed, boy.
yeah.
He was real racy yesterday.
Man, I feel like I gotta go with a decent car here. Alex Bowman. You got to win a couple of years ago. It was ticky-tacky.
He would have finished second if he didn't win, so he's good there.
We'll have to put together a playoff prediction thing too. Playoffs. Like one of
How
them
many
tier
more
lists.
races we got? 6? 5?
6, I
Seven,
think.
6, 7, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. We do have one OnlyFans
6.
question.
Woo.
Comes in from Gary Watersworth.
Gary's Washersworth.
Yeah, we did just have this one. Well, Gary asks, what
Gary
is
has
an
a.
all-time... Oh, go ahead.
No. You go ahead. I got to get the
Okay.
information.
What is an all-time favorite race for each of you? Either favorite driver winning or something unpredictable / memorable happening. And for Drake, how's Dale Jarrett?
He's doing great, man. Thanks for asking. Always good to feels good to get those check-ins, you know.
Yeah, we had this one not too long ago, so we'll keep it short and sweet. I think I said Watkins Glen 2012. I thought it was a really good finish.
2020 was one. Remember Michael McDowell won. That was ecstatic.
Chase's championship. Well, the race itself didn't suck, but the championship at Phoenix, or his first one at Watkins Glen, just because he had to hold off Truex there at the end while trying to save gas. So that was cool for me.
I don't know. I have short-term memory, so the only one I can really remember, and it was just a really cool moment, was Kyle Busch winning at Fontana this year. That was just really awesome to me. You know, stick the finger to JGR, getting that win right away. Felt awesome.
Okay. Well,
Thanks for the question.
no
Gary.
other...
Yep.
Yeah, thanks,
Sorry,
Gary.
it was a
That's
repeat,
only-
but keep sending them.
Gary also does. Gary does some photography. Fun fact, and he has
Oh.
a Twitter dedicated
Yes.
to it. Now it's going to be weird to pronounce this because it's like his name and number combined. So it's WATTE 12 So I don't know how you want to pronounce that, but it's basically Waterworth, but
creative.
instead of
Sure.
Meatball Motorsports.
Ball
Your-
B.
2023.
Your
Damn.
2023 iRacing 24 8 split champions.
Top split.
Was it a split? Yeah, it was top split.
Top
What are you
split.
talking about?
It was a split. Listen.
Wait,
It
was
Yeah,
split.
was a split.
Yep.
Okay, so again, thanks for the question. If you want to submit one, please go to our website,
Or Twitter.
thegwc.com. Yeah, you can message us on Twitter. Fuck it.
We'll
Why
take
not?
Or
some
on
DMs.
Discord.
Slide in the
Don't
DMs,
care.
baby.
Whatever. But yeah, get some more in. We love answering them. And let's move on to betting. The outrights are awful this week. I'm not really seeing anything there. But Kyle Larson plus 100 over Martin Truex Jr. I like that matchup. Kyle Larson's pretty dominant at PocoNO, at least the last couple of years. He's also got the highest average finish, or I should say the lowest average finish. So I'm all in on that one. That'll probably be a 1-unit bet. Other than that, winning manufacturer, the odds are too low. Yeah, I'm not really liking anything else. Right now, that's all I got. We'll try to get some more up for this weekend. But that's it.
Cool.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Should we wrap this up?
I think we're good.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I love you.
We didn't miss anything, did we?
No, I think we're good.
Probably.